My good friend Bobby Santoro of Jersey Sporting News is here. Bobby, I know you've been a busy man lately, so thanks so much for coming on. And how was your first Father's Day?
Oh, it was fantastic. Just seeing her, give me presents, as they say. My wife gave them to me, but I got a Blackstone grill, which I'm excited for. But it's been great. I've been so blessed to be a father, and she's turning 1 in a week, so I couldn't have been better.
It's amazing how grills make us in our 30s happy now. When we were younger, we wouldn't even think of something like that. But it's amazing how that changes over time. So, Bobby, with high school sports completely out of the way, I want to focus on Major League Baseball, starting with the Yankees. Since the last time we spoke, Garrett Cole has been moved from Double-A in Somerset to Triple-A in Scranton. Talk a little about his latest rehab performance.
Yeah, so his latest rehab was obviously, like you said, in Scranton. He had 10 strikeouts. He looks to be, all the way back. Now, he is potentially lined up to start Wednesday, I think, against the Orioles. We'll see how they feel about him. They didn't want to rush him back, obviously, and Cody Poteet, who's kind of filled in since Clark Schmidt had gotten hurt, has held it down a little as well. I think he's chomping at the bit to get back up there. He's shown that he's recovered well. He said he felt great after his last start. And obviously, if you're the Yankees, you don't want to rush him back like they've done. They haven't rushed him back. It was scary at the beginning of the year. You don't want that elbow to go. But I think he's ready to go. And obviously, you throw him right into this rotation, and he's gonna fit right in as your ace. You don't know how long you're going to get the quality out of Stroman and out of all the, Nestor's been struggling as well. But I think he's ready to come back. His last start kind of, proved it. We'll see what he does against the Orioles because that's going to be a huge series coming up.
I can't wait for him to come back. And going to hitting now, one guy the Yankees would have liked to see perform a little better this year is Anthony Rizzo. And he now has an injury to his right arm. So even though he's been subpar, is it still a big loss for the Yankees?
Yeah, see, for me, I think it is only because look, he's been struggling and he has had some little bit of issues, but what he means to that clubhouse is something that is something that you can't, you really just can't replace. So he'll still be there, obviously, but it's kind of different if he has to go on the IL, maybe depending on how long it's going to be. But he's an all around, he's a winner, he's a great baseball player, good baseball guy. So he's somebody who I think in my head, I look, I get it. I get the frustration that he's not hitting, and I'm sure it eats at him every day. But he's important to this team. You now, do I bring him back after next year? I don't know. But for the importance of the chemistry on this team, for the importance of everything, it's a huge blow. Now they can replace him. Obviously, they'll put LeMahieu at first a few times, but there are some options they have down in the minors too to come up and replace him. I know there's TJ Rumfield is a huge first baseman who's been down. I saw him last year with Somerset. He's with Scranton now. The big talk is Ben Rice, who is a catcher who has an electric arm as a catcher, but he also has played some first base as well, and he can hit too. So it's going to be tough to see who they bring up. If they do bring up one of these kids, I mean, Ben Rice has just been up in AAA, I feel like, for about a week or two. So we'll see how that works out. It'll be LeMahieu for the time being, but it is going to be a big blow just to have that kind of presence on the field. Rizzo is always the one who goes, the first one to get to the pitcher's mound when there's a meeting on the mound. If the catcher isn't coming out to go talk to him, it'll be Rizzo, the first baseman, coming over. And that's what you want. You want him or the shortstop, whoever your leader is in the infield, to kind of go over there and say something. So it's going to be a blow. And maybe this rest for him kind of helps him kind of get back on track and gear up for the postseason.
He is a big piece of that team chemistry and an overall good guy. And you touched on this before. The AL East this year kind of reminds me of the 1996 season when both the Yankees and Orioles were making a playoff run. The Yankees have an upcoming series with Baltimore, as you mentioned. How important is this series going to be for both teams?
Well, like you said, yeah, to me, yeah, 96, and it kind of reminds me almost of 98 as well, where the Yankees are on this huge run right now, on this huge tear, and Baltimore is right there with them. Now, I've been reading, a few books about, the old Yankee teams when I was younger, which, it was great to witness as a little kid, but even better to read about it. And you look at the comparisons to that. I mean, I feel like it's a huge series, obviously, because as good as the Yankees have been, the Orioles have been right on their tail. And you can't, and if you're a Yankee team, the hot start that you got out to, you have to, you don't know what's going to happen with Soto in the offseason. You need to make sure you win the division just to have that easier path in the playoffs. So we'll see. I mean, now hopefully in '98, I remember that was with the whole brawl with Benitez and all of them. I don't know if that's like
That's
the
right.
intensity of those teams is going to happen again. But I mean, my goodness, I see so many comparisons. Not to say they'll win as many games as the '98 team, or they're even close to as good as the '98 team, but just the kind of vibe, the chemistry, the kind of swagger on the team. It seems that way. That especially at home against the team who's younger and who is hungry too. I mean, they won the division last year.